How does he find his way into my chair every time? You sit right here while I make this video. I had someone ask me a question recently about what shows I'm watching and where I find my inspiration from them. One of those shows, I'm watching several, but the one that stands out the most, that deserves the most attention, is this series on Apple called Shrinking. Shrinking stars Harrison Ford and an ensemble of amazing actors, many of which you have probably seen on your television for years. But I could tell you, this series created by Bill Lawrence is the depth and the incredible writing, the compelling storylines, and the emotional ties, at least for me, that it seems to have, is probably one of the best and probably the most emotionally charged series that I've watched in a very, very long time, if ever. The way that they weave in the seriousness of mental illness and death and tragedy and people that are lost and simply need their own friend group, their community, connection to another human being. And this season tying it in with Parkinson's and bringing Michael J. Fox into the cast has just been a brilliant, brilliant move. But I watch it not just for the humor, but for how it tugs on my heartstrings, how it reminds me that there is a better way to live your life. There is a more purposeful approach to truly showing up and making a difference and connecting with the people who mean something to you in your own world, your family, your friends, your community, but how important, and this is a blatant commercial for what we do here with The Ripple, is that there will be people that show up in your life that you are actually intended to make a difference for as well. And so many of us miss those opportunities because we're caught up in our own nonsense or our own craziness. And I don't know about you, but I've actually found that no matter what drama, challenge, frustration might be going on in my world, when these people show up in my life and are put in my path for a very specific reason, it becomes my respite from the chaos and the craziness that I might be dealing with on a personal or professional level. It's as if God is showing me that there is an opportunity to make a difference in a different way. And no matter what I do or how I do it, I always come back better for it, which means that I show up to my problems or my issues or my challenges, whatever I might have been dealing with prior to that interaction, I show up a little bit better. I show up a little more confident. I show up a little less stressed out, and that is a good thing. And I think with Shrinking, every week there is a lesson. If you take the time to unpack it, if you let the entertainment just wash over you, hey, no judgment whatsoever. But I'm also a big believer that you have to look for the purpose, the reason, the real value that you can derive from the content that's put before you. And I choose to do that with this series. I choose to do that in almost every episode, every week. It gets me thinking about being a better human. It gets me thinking about how I too want that level of friendship and community in my own life. People that truly give me crap all the time and people who love me just the same. People who will call me on my shit and people who will be there to support me when I am down. They are, without question, a perfect example. This cast, this ensemble, the writing, the storytelling is a Ripple in real time for you to see and to learn from and to experience. So if you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. Harrison Ford is worth the price of admission. He's my favorite actor, one of my favorite actors. He's just killing it in this series in a big way. And Jimmy and Liz and the Derricks and All the cast are just, you will fall in love with each and every one of them. You'll have an investment in each and every one of their characters. And you'll see how their individual purpose in life is driving them forward, and by extension, dragging all the rest of them along with them. And they each have their own challenges, their own goals and aspirations, but most of them can't move forward without the love and the support of the people that they have surrounded themselves with. And to me, that's a pretty damn good life. So, should be a goal, it should be an aspiration for us to strive for in our own Ripple worlds. Wouldn't that be great? Shrinking, check it out, thank me later, and feel free to comment. Let me know if you're watching, if you love it, what you're taking from it, what ripples you've seen because of it, maybe how it's created a ripple in your own life. Until next time, my friends, ripple on. The Fields, Jimmying, the Derricks. There's so many funny freaking lines from that show. Paul, Harrison Ford's character, just slays me. And even thinking about how funny Liz is and how neurotic and jacked up, screwed up, fucked up she is, she still has a heart of gold. I can see, here's a challenge, I can almost see doing this where you actually figure out who in your life, who in your network would fit each character. I did this the other night. It was super funny. And I realized that I have somebody in my life that would fit that role except for Marisol. And I do have a buddy that has a crazy ex-girlfriend who shows up in his world from time to time. So maybe that counts, but I don't know her all that well. But almost every other character in there, I've been able to find an alignment with in my own world. Isn't that weird? That's weird, right? Try it, dude. I'm telling you, if you try it, if you give it a whirl, you'll be like, oh yeah, Bob fits the Paul role. Oh yeah, Sally fits the Jimmy role, whatever. Trust me. It's such a beautifully done series. I'm a fan. I'm clearly a fanboy. Fuck Parkinson's. Best line ever.